Let me first say that symbolically, I think it is hugely important that the Secretary General and you started this week exactly on the topic we are discussing today, resourcing the aspirations of billions of people for better lives. 2030 is just around the corner, and concentrating on action, carrying it forward is absolutely essential. But I also think that you did a very good job symbolically putting the four of us right here, the women on this panel, at center stage, because I strongly believe that when women are empowered, when they are engaged, very good things happen. I often remind something that one of the former presidents of the World Bank, another Jim Wolfenson, once said to me, Kristalina, so much work to do and so very few women to do it. But here we are, we are mobilized, we would do it. So let me make four short points on behalf of my institution, the World Bank Group, and on behalf of our president. First, we as a member of the UN family are charged to mobilize financing for development. And I'm very proud to say that the World Bank in recent years has been successful to bring more funding for those who need it the most, for the countries that are still struggling to develop. Thanks to the generosity of our partners and the hard work of our teams, we had a record high replenishment of our Fund for the Poor, IDA. We got for the next 3 years $75 billion. This is 50% more than during the previous IDA replenishment. And this $75 billion could not come at a better time when we do have mobilization together with our sisters and brothers in the UN system to deliver on the SDGs. Secondly, we recognize that even if we are to not increase by 50%, but to double or to triple or to quadruple the funds we mobilize directly for development, they would fall far too short vis-a-vis the needs. The needs are in trillions, the money we mobilize are still in the hundreds of billions. So it is paramount for us to do what the Secretary General just spoke about, to use our presence in development so we can mobilize more private finance to go where it is most needed, where the aspirations for development are not yet met. And we have adopted, together with the other development banks, what we call at the World Bank a cascade, a principle in which our money is to be a facilitator for private resources to flow. If we have trillions sleeping in the financial system, somebody has to wake this money up. And we see a mission for the World Bank Group in that regard, identify why investments are not happening, what are the barriers, and then systematically eliminating these barriers so these investments can happen. And I'm proud to say that we already have in 9 countries of focus the prospects of turning billions into hundreds of billions into trillions, and we would expand that work. But we also have to be on the front line to innovate. It shouldn't be that only the rich and the powerful can benefit from creativity in the financial system. So I would flag to you some of our innovations in the recent years that we are striving to bring to a big scale. One, to fight climate change by transforming investment flows. We were the first to issue a green bond, and now green bonds have reached 10 billion, issuance has reached $10 billion. Two, to link bond issuance to the SDGs. I'm proud to say that we have done that already. 3, to look at new risks like massive risks like pandemics and we have issued a first ever pandemics bond. For the first time, the pandemic risk in low-income countries is being met by market instrument. And when we issued our first pandemic bond, it was twice oversubscribed. In other words, the market is saying we are prepared to step up to the plate. And last but absolutely not least, catastrophic insurance. Because of the work we have started doing in the previous decade, we now have a catastrophic risk insurance facility in the Caribbean. When Irma hit, within 14 days, most affected countries have received cash that can be deployed immediately to meet these needs. And I pledge to you that we will continue to strive to make this innovation work for the poorest people. Let me finish with what others on the panel spoke about, domestic resource mobilization. In the end of the day, countries have to have their own sustainable financing. And today, 36% of either countries and 70% of fragile countries do not raise enough taxes to meet their very basic needs. Where basically you have to have 15% of GDP in your budgets to meet these needs. And we are working together with IMF. We created a global tax team to make sure that this is not their future. Let me finish with a gratitude to all of you who are in this room. It is possible to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. It is possible if we all pull together. Thank you.